Only when the young man accidentally shattered his father's portrait and discovered a hidden letter inside the frame did everything become clear. He finally realized that his father had long predicted his older brother would seize the family inheritance, and the lottery ticket his father gave him before passing away likely carried a massive prize. Sure enough, when he went to claim the ticket, he learned that he had actually won $50 million, yet he felt no excitement at all. Instead, after receiving the bank notification confirming the prize money had arrived, he went straight to the most expensive villa sales center in town. Without hesitation, he purchased 8 luxurious villas on the spot, all because not long ago when their biased mother divided the family assets, she gave his brother 3 luxury villas, while the young man received nothing more than a wrinkled lottery ticket his father had bought before his death. Seeing the disgusted look on his face, his mother explained that his brother was married and had many expenses to cover. She urged him to be generous and stop competing with his brother. She told him to keep the old lottery ticket as a keepsake left behind by their father. Just as the young man was growing resentful over his mother's favoritism, the surrounding relatives could no longer stay silent. One after another, they criticized the mother for being unfair, yet she calmly fired back, saying the young man had no girlfriend and no real need for money. Giving him a worthless lottery ticket was already more than enough. At that moment, his sister-in-law also spoke up. With a smug smile, she claimed that with a monthly salary of only $3,000 he could never afford such a large house. She said it would be better to give it to his brother and reduce his burdens. She even insisted that he should thank her for taking on all the costs related to the house. As their attitudes became increasingly arrogant, the young man finally reached his limit. He angrily pointed out that when their father was critically ill in the hospital, his brother's family never once came to visit. Even the medical bills had been covered with his own modest paycheck. But his mother immediately interrupted him. She claimed his brother had simply been too busy with work and had no time. Besides, they were both their father's biological sons. It made no difference who paid the medical expenses. His brother also sneered and said their father was already gone, so there was no point discussing hospital bills anymore. Helpless, the young man looked at the lottery ticket in his hand and recalled the scene from his father's final moments. Back then, his father used his last bit of strength to apologize to him. He admitted that he and his wife had always favored the older brother. Only before his death had he realized that the young man was the most devoted son. After saying that, he pointed toward the bedside table and mentioned a lottery ticket inside. He repeatedly told him to keep it safe and never lose it. After giving those final instructions, his father took his last breath. The young man knew the lottery ticket could not be as simple as it appeared. With that thought, he immediately agreed to the proposed division of the inheritance, but only if they accepted one condition. He wanted to completely cut ties with his mother and his brother's family forever. The relatives instantly criticized him. They said he was too petty to abandon his entire family over a few houses. His mother also became angry and said he was acting childish despite being fully grown. She asked what was so difficult about letting his older brother have a little more. Hearing that familiar and piercing voice, the young man remembered how he always wore his brother's old clothes as a child, while his brother wore brand new school uniforms bought by their mother. Even his tuition money had been redirected to pay for his brother's football lessons, and he had been forced to tell his teachers the family would pay later. After growing up, his mother even took the money he had worked hard to save and gave it to his brother for a house. Thinking of all this left him completely disappointed with the family. At that moment, his brother casually agreed to his request. He claimed that earning only $3,000 a month made the young man nothing but a burden to the household. His sister-in-law immediately agreed and told him to move out as soon as possible. From then on, their family would have nothing to do with him. The young man did not argue. He simply went to pack his belongings. After tearing his mother and brother's pictures from a family photograph, he decisively chose to leave. Before departing, he respectfully knelt and bowed 3 times to his father. Then he picked up his father's portrait and prepared to leave. However, at that moment, his sister-in-law sarcastically accused him of stealing family property in his suitcase. Furious, the young man dumped the suitcase onto the floor and told them to inspect it themselves. But that action only made her even angrier. She immediately claimed that even the clothes he was wearing had been bought by his brother. If he wanted to leave, he would have to take them off. Without saying a word, the young man removed his jacket. No matter how his mother tried to stop him, it was useless. Then, before everyone's astonished eyes, he returned everything his brother had ever bought for him. Yet that still was not enough. His sister-in-law demanded that he also repay the phone bills his brother had covered. Completely disheartened, he transferred the money without hesitation. Then he declared that since they loved keeping score so much, he would settle every account with them. He pointed out that after turning 16, he had never spent another cent from the family, and for 10 full years he had sent $2,000 home every month for living expenses. Yet instead of feeling guilty, his mother claimed it had all been for his own growth. She even insisted he should be grateful for her education and guidance. The young man let out a cold laugh and said he had no intention of taking back the money that belonged to him. He would consider it repayment for the 16 years they had raised him. After saying that, he took out a severance agreement and handed it to his mother for her signature. Then he picked up his father's portrait and walked away without looking back. After leaving home, the young man could no longer hold back his emotions. He broke down crying in the middle of the street. But at that moment, he accidentally dropped his father's portrait onto the ground. As he picked up the broken frame, he suddenly noticed a hidden letter inside. The moment he read the letter, he finally understood his father's true intentions. His father had long anticipated that after his death, the older brother would take the family inheritance, and the lottery ticket he left behind was actually his final gift. After finishing the letter, the young man chose to trust his father completely. He immediately entered a lottery shop to claim the prize. When the owner examined the ticket, everyone present was stunned, because the young man had won a staggering $50 million. After collecting the money and receiving the bank confirmation, his first stop was the most luxurious villa sales center in the city. Yet the moment he entered, several salespeople looked down on him. They assumed that someone dressed so plainly could never afford such expensive villas. However, Anna, the sales director, walked over without hesitation to personally handsomely assist him. She even handed him a towel so he could dry the rainwater from his clothes. For the first time in a long while, the young man felt a touch of warmth from a stranger. Amid the constant ridicule from the other salespeople, he immediately signed contracts for 8 luxury villas with Anna, leaving everyone present completely speechless. Not long afterward, the young man finally moved into a home that truly belonged to him. As he wondered how to enjoy the rest of his fortune in freedom, his brother's phone call suddenly came through. He said their mother had been missing him greatly, and asked him to come home the following evening for dinner with her. Without hesitation, the young man agreed, because he had already figured out exactly how he would take revenge on that cruel family.